Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can prompt your AI agent so that you get less errors and more accurate results. I'm going to break down the main type of prompts that we have. I'm going to show you how to structure them step by step. And then I'll give you a few simple rules you can follow in the future so that the AI actually does what you need. If you're new here, my name is Giovanni, and over the past 5 months, I've helped more than 50 businesses with AI automation. And with that being said, let's dive in. All right, so let's start immediately by refreshing our knowledge on agents. Agent is something that has an input of whatever sort and then has an output. And in order to move from input to output, the agent has two main components: a brain that allows it to think, right? And then the instruction, which is the prompt, which is where we're going to focus on today. And we know that inside these instructions, and therefore inside the prompt, we're going to describe exactly everything that the agent needs to do in order to perform the task successfully, which also means that we're going to tell the agent what these tools are that he has access to and how they should be used, right? Now, let's move to n8n and see a first real example of this. And we can start with what we call a simple agent. This is the simplest unit, I would say, of an agent that you can produce. And as you can see here, we have an input, which is a chat input, like this one. Then the data will flow into the agent. The agent will use a brain to think, as we just mentioned, a memory. The memory is just to store past conversation. And then the only tool that it has available, it is the Gmail tool, meaning that most likely this agent will only be able to send emails. And to do that, I'm going to press open chat. I can type something along the way of, hello, how are you, right? And when I press enter, I notice that my agent now is answering me. And it's going to answer me with, hello, I'm doing great, thank you for asking. And here we can see that we also have an interface that gives us the same output, right? Now, if we go inside the nodes, we see that in here, we have that the first, oh, I spelled it wrong, but that we have a chat input, which is, hello, how are you? Okay, and then we see that this same chat input then goes inside the agent, and we can see it from this arrow right here, which means the data go inside the agent. And if I open it, I see that, and let me go in here, that I have the same chat input that is right here. And this chat input then goes inside the agent that is then able to answer to us, correct? Now, you see that here, immediately, there is a difference, which is a prompt message and a system message. These are the two types of prompts that we generally have. And you can see the prompt message as being something like along the way of, hey, please do something. So here you are just describing the task, just like you would do with the chat input. The system message gives the agent the overall context in which it should be acting, right? And why is that? Because with a message, system message, we give the agent the overview of the context in which it's acting, the tools that are available, how to use them, nuances of the process, step-by-step rules. So basically, it's as if the system message is your, SOP, your onboarding, and etc. And then with the user message, you say, okay, now that you know the SOP, please do exactly that task. Reason why we always need both. How do we write a good system message, which is the most important one and the reason why prompt engineering is so good? Before diving into how this is supposed to be written, we need to start with the conventions and so the formatting and what these symbols represent. Let me start by saying that these symbols right here are used to represent the text in the markdown format. And what is a markdown format? It's a simple way to represent the text in a structured way. And why do we do that? Because of the fact that here we have plain language, with representing the text in such a way, we have the possibility of giving a sort of hierarchy of what's more important and what's less important. Let's see markdown in practice so that we understand it. Let's go to a Google Sheet, and I will type just 3 times hello, okay? Now, if I were to leave it like this would be simple plain text. And so even the LLM would not understand what is a title, what is something in bold, and so on and so forth, right? Because inside n8n, we don't have the possibility to do that. So how do we do that? Is in Google Sheet, you just go right here and press heading 1. And by the way, heading 1 is the same thing as representing, and it's literally the same thing, the text like this. Okay? If I were to go right here and have something along the way of heading 2, then that would mean that I have, and you can see it adapts, 2 of these things, right? And then you can go right here and you could go hello 3. And if I were to press it, then I see that it adapts. And this is very useful because it helps to give a sense of priority and a certain hierarchy to the text. Now, as you can see here, we have titles, 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 titles. You can put this as titles or not. I put it sub-optional and etc. Just as an FYI, sometimes you will see also this type of formatting right here. And let me see if I can make it. So maybe it's with a double thingy. Okay. And this is nothing more than representing the text in bold. Okay. So that's why sometimes you see it, because it's just a way to say, okay, listen, this is the bold part. And generally it's used right here. Now that we started clarifying the conventions and understanding that this is overall Markdown format, and the reason why we write it like this is because we give a sense of priority to the LLM, and then the LLM will understand the text in a hierarchical way. How do we write a good prompt? This is a good template that you can always use in order to understand if you have included all of the data inside your agent or if you're missing something. And right here, you can start with the following. You are a, and I'm sure that if you're seeing this video, you're probably already familiar with few prompts where people would say you are a helpful, intelligent assistant. And the reason why we do that, to keep it very simple, is because it just helps the output to get better and increases the accuracy of the output. There are a lot of studies and materials on this, so you can deep dive how much it increases. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 30% increase. However, too technical stuff that will not move the needle for you to prompt well or make money. Therefore, you just need to know that you need to give a role or an identity as a first thing, right? So you are a, in this case, let's go with the usual, helpful, intelligent, personal assistant. That's very meta. Your purpose is to, and right here we're going to describe the goal or the task that we want the agent to perform. So your purpose is to, well, in our case, we just have the Gmail node, right? So the only thing that we can do is send emails when the user asks. Okay. And by the way, we are in a later moment in the video going to see a complete prompt. So just take this as a learning process. Then we are going to see the full thing and applied. You have, and this is the number of tools that it has available. 1 tool available as per below. And why is that? Because what I noticed is that specifically when the agent starts to become very complex and we have 5, 6, 7 tools connected, which by the way, I would never recommend, but in case we go that far, we see that the agent starts to be a little bit confused. So it's very good in the total overview to provide also the number of tools that are available and then say that, okay, these are the tools. Now you can go below to check which tools are, how they're called, what they're used for, and etc. Now, tools. We have one tool, which is called Gmail tool. And here, by the way, as a best practice, at least this is what I do, and it tends to work very well for the things that I am doing. I try to keep, and let me zoom out and close this. I try to keep the same name of the tool right here. So for this very reason, I'm now gonna change this to Gmail tool. And the reason is because this way I can reference one-to-one the tool in my prompt. And it just increases the accuracy. It reduces the possibility of you making mistakes. It's just better overall. And it's good practice. This tool is used when you need to send emails, right? Nothing more, nothing fancy. Oops, I'm sorry. We're just going to use this. Now, always confirm. Okay, here are the rules. Let me, before starting. And this is a very nice practice which helps the agent navigate ambiguity. Because if for every rules we always say, always do this, never do that, if unsure, do it, like that, then this is a nice way to always control what the agent will be doing, right? And even when the workflow or the tasks are not being performed as per expectation, we sort of have anyway a way to control the direction where the agent is acting, So basically, we're giving guardrails. And I think a great example is, let's imagine you are swimming, right, on a swimming pool. And I don't know, to be honest, how they're called in English, but you have those, guardrails. I think they're called lanes that, they help you out to swim in a specific direction. And if you are anything like me, if you didn't have those stuff, like, oh my days, like the whole pool would be mine. Anyway, those help you out to figure out, okay, like if for some reason I'm going in the wrong direction, okay, let me just readjust my trajectory, correct? And here we're doing the same with the agent. And that's why we're providing the rules. So always confirm you send an email if successful, right? Never perform a task unless specifically stated from the user. Here we could say never send an email. And I will show you an example now. An email unless specifically stated from the user. If unsure, don't act and give as output, please give me more info. Okay? Now, format all responses as is, we tend to want to have a unified way in which we want our answer to appear. For many workflows or many nodes inside a workflow, you will have noticed that we tend to prefer answers in JSON format, maybe because we're feeding them in a way. Here, specifically because we're talking about emails, I would probably give more guidelines or more output on the tone and how the email should look like. I'll make an example. So, format all the responses as emails with a friendly tone. Like this is a silly one, but we got the intent, right? And here, this is very optional. So this is examples. By the way, best practice is if you want to do it by the book, to provide between 3 to 5 examples. After that, the number of example does not necessarily correlate to an improve in the accuracy of the prompt. So just keep it in top of your head. Doesn't need to be, you don't need actually the examples, but they just help. And just to give you an example, I don't know, I would say send an email to Giovanni, okay, is the user message. So basically it's the chat input, so the one that we have right here, okay? And the agent is the output that we get. And so here we would say, okay, actually, here you could have two things. So you could have, as an example, either the answer and the email produced by the agent or the answer of the agent. Here I will go with the answer of the agent. Okay, email to Giovanni sent. Okay, perfect. And now I am going to close this. I'm going to close this and we can test it real quick to see how this works. We have, let me hard code my email, javijato@gmail.com, so that we know, because we didn't give access to who Giovanni is, right? Now we're gonna send it. So open chat, send an email to Giovanni. And if we're now gonna press it, you see, please give me more info. And now if we say, please send an email to Giovanni, to joebegiato@gmail.com, saying, hi, how are you? Now, if we press send, you see that the agent went inside the Gmail node. Now I gave the information, the thing is sent. I'm not going to open my email, but it's going to be there. And here we have email to Giovanni Beggiato sent with message, how are you? Fantastic. So now this is the foundational and concept to prompt an agent. And now, before moving to the complex one, I just want to give you one more nugget, which is this agent is called simple agent, one layer agent, whatever you want to call it. And the reason is because the input that we have is 1, then the agent is 1 also, and then the agent will take a decision no matter how many tools it has available, but then it will route your request wherever you prefer. Now, in this example is Gmail. If you want to add a calendar node without doing it, but just to see it, then we would know that if we specify in the prompt now that it has 2 available and that this is used to book meetings, then we would know that the agent could route your request here. However, this is called simple agent because we have only one AI agent, which is this one, okay? Now, if we move to a more complex one, it's this agent right here that I will try to make full screen and avoid covering. Okay, you should be seeing it now. Perfect. And this is called multi-step agent, multi-agent step prompt, whatever. What is the reason? The reason is that we have an input and we keep it simple on purpose. We have an input. The agent routes the request. However, it's routing the request to other agents, correct? So here we can see that according to the task that we have available, we want to go right here. And why are we building the agent right here? Because now you understand that the agent now, and I will give you an example that will clarify the whole thing, are the tools that we had available. So before here, we would have connected the Gmail node, right? And then inside these agents, we then have the tools. And the reason is because we have more than one tool. So here we have 4 Gmail tools. And as you can see, they do completely different things. One gathers the email, the other one answers, one labels, and the other one sends, right? So here we are messaging, answering to a thread. And here we are answering to a specific email, for example. Or here we are getting events. Oh, here you can see. So let me just move it. So here you have, you are getting events, then you are creating them or deleting or updating. So when there is this confusion that we have so many similar tools, it's best practice to gather them inside one agent that has one scope. And that's why I call them, email agent, calendar agent, content agent, and so on. Now, how do all of these relate one another? Leaving aside what happens, and this is a Telegram, so this is just a service that works similarly to WhatsApp, okay? But let's see the prompting part. In the top agent, which is also called orchestrator because allows you to orchestrate the whole workflow, whatever you're doing, okay? We see that we have our usual chat input, which in our example is just called text. And then we have an overview, and let's read it. You are a smart routing assistant. Your job is to send user requests to the right tools. So we have an identity, and let me organize it for you. And we have your job is to send the request to the right tools. Now, here, of course, because I still didn't know how many tools I had, here I would say you have 4 AI agent available as your tools as per below. And this is how you go with the best practice that we said, just to ensure that they work. Content agent. And as you can see, I bolded it because I want to tell the LLM that this is more important than this, meaning that this is the title and this is the description. And here, as you can see, it's always markdown. And then we have content agent handles content stuff, blah, blah, blah. Email agent handles email stuff. Calendar agent handle calendar stuff. Content agent writes blog, gives you the full text and so on. Now, rules. Some action need contact info first, so you need to get the context before doing these. So sending email, writing emails, and making calendar events. What does it mean? It means that in order to gather the information, like in the previous example, I hard-coded the information, right? Inside the Gmail node, I put my email and I was like, okay, now send it there. Here, what happens is that we have a database. So the usual flow for this is, and let me see if I can make it in one screen right here. Okay, right here, you should be able to see. Yeah. So sorry if I keep it like this. You have your input, and imagine that you're asking, send an email to Giovanni. The agent has no idea who Giovanni is, but knows that because it's the task is sending an email, in our guardrails, we told the agent, hey, in case you have that task, you need to, first of all, go in here in your contact agent. Then you need to access the database. So this is the route that you should follow. So think with your brain and then access the DB. Once you access the DB, you then gather the contact that you want. You shoot it up to your contact agent. The contact agent will then tell this orchestrator, okay, the contact is for Giovanni is jobejat@gmail.com. And then the AI agent will then go down here, will be, okay, I have all the information I need, else it will answer, I need more info, and the AI agent will give it more info. Now it's not anymore on us, right? The AI agent here then will, once it has all the info it needs, it will think and then go right here in this node right here, and it will send an email, which is the difference between reply and send a message. Once the message is sent, what's going to happen is that the information will flow right here. This agent will then communicate the orchestrator that the task is completed. And at the end, the only thing that the orchestrator is going to do is it's going to process the information. And if everything is completed, it's just going to simply go right here and send you a response saying, okay, all done, we're good to go. Okay? Now, just out of an example, let's see what's inside the other agents now that you know how the orchestrator prompt works. Now, overview, simple one. You manage contacts. You have tools to work with the contact database. Get contacts, other update, right? Very simple. I give you the best practice. It doesn't mean that you need all of them. If you have all of them, it's better. If you have some of them because maybe the task is simple, then it's a great one. Now here, of course, for the emails, you need a bit more context because it's a bit more of a complicated things than just, grabbing a contact from a DB and whatever. Now, you are an email assistant, so identity, role. You have tools to handle email tasks. Okay, here I didn't say anything. It was already clear from the beginning. However, if I wanted to go with best practice, your task is to send emails when the user asks for it. Again, we are going very casual, very Spartan prompts. We're not here to make them overly complicated. Then tools, again, as you notice, the bold part and then the name of the tool and then the description of the tool. For all of them, I'm not going to read it because, by the way, it's all going to be for free in the first link down below if you are interested in gathering and playing around with it. And then one thing that I wanted to zoom in on, because this is super interesting, other than the HTML format, which is okay for the emails. But why are we adding for this agent the current date? The reason is that for agents, when we are talking about time and date, they are extremely bad at understanding date data. So the best practice is, and if you don't give it, by the way, 100%, it will get confused and it will give you errors. So it's not only best practice, but it's actually required that whenever you prompt an agent, here, you're always going to provide in the additional info the current date. And what does this current date do? Now, if I were to write it so that we can see it, okay. If I write, I don't want to overcomplicate, but this is just a way to write dynamic variables. And here we're saying, give me in this JSON format, the date, the now, actually, I don't need the JSON, I'm sorry, the now date. And you see that this now date, without leaving aside what format is this and why is that and etc., but it gives me now. So now it's the 5th of December, 11:28. And as you can see, it's also right here. Okay. But it's formatted in a way that, at least for me, it's non-comprehensible. And this is the only reason why the formula has a dot format Okay, and here you're just able to format the date in the way that you like. And here, if you format it with the year, month, and day, you get this. Otherwise, you get this, and you have so many options. Okay, great. All right, so with this, we conclude the prompting masterclass, and I really hope you got a little bit of value from the video, and it's a bit more clear how you can prompt effectively agents, and what are the simple rules that you can follow, and what is the best practice in terms of structure that you should be following in order to get the results that you want and preventing, getting all those silly mistakes. And to me, in the beginning, it was a bit of a trial and error, to be completely honest, because I didn't know most of these, and I learned them on the go through tons of mistakes. So I hope this was helpful. You can download the full blueprint for free in the first link down below. It will guide you to my school community. And once you log in, you're going to be able to go right here in the classroom sections, and you're going to find it in the tutorial. Now, it will be inside one of these folders, and it will have the same title of the YouTube video. So you will go right here and you will download the blueprint. And by the way, don't worry, in case you don't know how to download the blueprint, I made a quick video for you right here that explains you step by step how you can download them and import them into n8n. The only catch though is that not everyone gets in, so please take some time to answer the question that you will find in the beginning of your application, because they help me out to understand who enters the community and what's the quality of the people that I manage to gather inside. So with that aside, I really hope the video was helpful, and if that's true, I'll see you in the next one.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.